Takes a second for, yeah. Welcome, everyone. We are here for the 2026 podcast series. Each year, I select a topic to explore and research and present something. And the topic for the podcast this year is to invite people who have gone through spiritual transformation and are working in fields that are different than the norm, and using their abilities to be able to help us in our own journey. And this is to normalize your experience and to be able to make you come forward with your own stories and hopefully see the lighter, brighter side of taking workshops and classes to find your own journey. So with us tonight, we have Julie Bassett. Julie is the founder of White Tail Shamanic Healing, which is a spiritual healing practice devoted to restoring energetic balances and guiding clients back into alignment with their soul's path, which is very important, through shamanic healing and intuitive guidance, animal communication, and soul-centered spiritual work. She helps people and animals release energetic blockages, gain clarity, and reconnect with their wisdom of the spirit world and nature. Her work blends grounded compassion with deep intuitive insight, creating a sacred space for healing, transformation, and spiritual awakening. Julie, welcome.
Hi, how are you?
I'm really good, and I'm really excited because I actually had some of the people that in my entourage, and they're like, so when's the animal communicator coming forward? When are we going to see her? And it's like, end of March, she's coming. So
I'm very happy to be here.
Awesome. Because Julie, tell us where you're based out of.
I'm out of South Carolina, between Greenville and Spartanburg.
Okay. And what's important about everybody listening today is that Julie offers a lot of online workshops. So even though she's in the States, she's easily accessible, and you can connect with her through the Zoom class and even one-on-one session that she can do long distance. So even though she's necessarily not next door, she's a great guest because she can work with every one of you. So tell me, I wanted to know, most of us have a moment that made us aware that, things are a little different, or you could see things that other people couldn't see. So what happened to you? And when did you realize that things were different for you than other people?
Oh, gosh. I guess it first started when I was a kid. We had a German Shepherd dog when I was growing up, and I was an only child, and she was more like a sister to me than a pet. And I could always feel what she was feeling and could really sense her. But, based on, religious stigma and all that, it was, that's all in your imagination. That's not true, And so I shut it off. And then after having back surgery in 2017, and then a pulmonary embolism right after that, I decided I was going to take some classes. And I took a transformational coaching class with Mary Morrissey. I took a class for health coaching with the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. And I also took a animal communication class with Lynn McKenzie. And it's just like, this is it. Because I really liked her because she taught the traditional healing aspects that I'm using in a lot of the animals today. And then on top of that, I'll add the shamanic work, which came later. But I just love it. The animals are so fun to talk to. They've all got distinct personalities, and you know, after my pulmonary embolism, like I was on short-term disability, I did go back to work, but then after a series of events, I was laid off. And so I just started doing this professionally.
So is the circumstances in the event that led you to say, okay, well, now's a good time to start because I'm unemployed anyway?
Yes. I mean, I did some odd jobs. Like I did pet sitting through Rover, pet sitting, house sitting through Rover for a while. I've worked at a home health place. I worked at a restaurant as a, not a waiter, but a food runner. And then I worked in a lab for a while. And it's like trying to get my business going took a while. So I had to take on these other jobs to make ends meet, but I always knew it was going to be temporary. And so now I'm doing this full time, and it's wonderful. I love being able to do what I'm passionate about. And I've always had a love for animals.
And I think that's the key, right? A lot of people ask me, so how do you figure out what your soul's purpose is? And I think that your soul's purpose is always going to align with the things that make you happy, the things that you're passionate about. That's why you're passionate about it. You're being drawn to these fields and areas. So now that you're doing this, how all the people that told you was your imagination, what do they say about it now?
Well, both my parents are deceased, and they were deceased before I started down this path. But, some of my friends are kind of, I don't understand what you do and things like that. But, we just don't talk about it.
Oh, really? Okay.
I've worked on her pet before. I don't know if she believed if it had helped or not. I gave her some messages from her pet. My stepmom is very supportive of me. So it just depends. And I've got a whole new tribe of people that believe in me and the work that I do.
I think that's important, right? Because what happens is that the people who don't believe in you, they create space when they leave, which allows you to finally join the tribe. And I like that you use the word tribe, because that's what I call my people, right? Whenever they graduate from a class with me or they start being active in my community, I'm like, you're part of the tribe now. It's a community we're building, right? So it's you find your people.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Because I know that from the questions that I get, a lot of people are like, isn't it scary or isn't it lonely? And I'm like, on the contrary, the minute you actually put yourself out there, that's when people are like, oh, I've been looking for someone like you, right? So my experience was very positive. So, but just like you, I had to work at a day job until my business became my full-time job, right? It didn't happen overnight. So, what is it from your operation and your pulmonary embolism that caused you to reopen again? Did you see something? Did you?
Not that I'm aware of, but I just realized that I didn't want to go back working for corporate again. And, I had to. That was a comfort zone for me. I was married at the time and we needed the paycheck. But then, Spirit was nudging me to try and start doing other things. And, I went to a shamanic healing camp in early 2018. And that gave me the courage to ask my husband at the time of 30 years for a divorce, or actually for separation. That weekend, I found an apartment, but the Friday or the Thursday after I asked for a separation, this is like 2 days' time, I was laid off from my corporate job. I went ahead and moved anyway and haven't looked back. Um, sometimes spirit pulls the rug out from under you.
Sure does.
And, there's always something better on the other side.
Yes, but it's sometimes it's hard for the people to take that jump or take that leap of faith, right? So just for the people who might not recognize they're being nudged by spirit, because the whole idea of the podcast this year is to tell people this is what spiritual transformation starts as, and that's what it looks like when you're getting a message. So when you said you were being nudged by spirit, what did that look like, sound like, or feel like to you?
Well, as far as my corporate job, I wasn't happy there. I had been promoted to a position that I wasn't being effective. And this company had a tradition of laying people off right around Christmas time. This was a second round of layoffs in May. So, that was a nudge, or actually that was a kick out the door. And then when I've always kind of been drawn to shamanism, but I wasn't sure if it was the right path for me. But then I watched this 1-hour webinar and I had full body chills the whole hour.
Aha.
So I knew that I needed to pursue that there was something in it that I needed to learn or I needed to do. And a lot of times you don't know why you're being led that way.
That's right. Now
I'm starting to see it because things are starting to connect, and I've adapted the training I've learned in shamanism for humans to animals. And I'm also starting to take medical mediumship or medical intuitive classes because that's going to help me with both the animals and the humans. I don't know where all this is leading. I'm just here for the ride.
But it feels different, right? It feels different than when you were with corporate.
Oh, yes. They had some very unrealistic deadlines and a lot of pressure. I was working 12, 14, sometimes 16 hours a day. Some of it because I didn't want to go home to my narcissist husband, but a lot of it was due to the deadlines.
They fed each other. Yeah, it's because I think that once you're starting to, the chills you're talking about, for me, that's literally my soul saying, see, look how excited I am, kind of thing. There's a way that for each and every one of us, it's different. But that chill, definitely, right? For me, whenever somebody says something and it's true, I have this. It's my soul is celebrating. You're telling the truth. You're here. You're now. You're finally connecting the dots. Yay, right?
I've called it truth chills.
Truth chills. I like that. Awesome. Because I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, for me, it came, I was painting a wall at home and I received I'm an audience. So I received a message, okay, so now you can retire and you can do this full time. And I'm like, wait a minute. So, I had 3 kids, I had a mortgage, I had car payment. I was like, yeah, I'm not feeling it right now. I need more, but at least it was kind of my call saying, okay, well, if you need more, go find it because we're waiting for you. We're ready, you're not, so get ready, kind of thing. So I just like you, I wasn't sure where this was going. So I took this class and I took that class, but eventually I don't know, I felt like I was surrounded and finally had how can I say it? I had the boundaries of what that looks like for me and how I'm going to apply it, And I think that it's important what you're doing, that you're adapting it to the shamanism for the animals because they're sentient beings.
Yeah.
Right. And there are companions and they share lives. So they have, I think, just as much as us a right to feel healthy and be happy and be connecting to their purpose, because they also have a purpose.
Most definitely.
So I thought that was super important. I know some people are watching. I can see the numbers. Don't be shy. Say hi. Write the comments, either on YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook. We'll say hi back to you. We're open to questions. And I kind of twisted a bit of Julie's arm so she can do a demonstration for us later. So you guys know what it looks like, because we have our two lovely pets here who do have attitude. They have their very strong personalities. So we have two things to ask for for them to please be kind. So you can see the demonstration in a little bit. So stay tuned for that. But I want to know more about your experience in because you've had some very interesting experiences with different modalities. So how does it come to you that you're integrating them together?
It's more of like a knowing.
A knowing. Okay. With it, can you describe that?
Well, sometimes I'll see the energy. So
okay.
When I'm sensing how an animal is feeling, I ask if I can step into its energy. And I'm very clairsentient, so I can feel what the animal is feeling or what a human is feeling. And I sense it in my body. And so it's like, oh, you got an upset tummy, don't you? Uh-huh. So then I'll dig deeper and try and get to the root cause of it. But that way, you know, and I've had them where they're nauseous, and I say, well, what's making you nauseous? And I'll get like a metallic taste in my mouth. And I say, okay, where's that coming from? And they'll show me like a pill. And it's like, oh, so that pill is upsetting your tummy. And it goes, yeah. Sometimes they will, like, they've given me like a musty scent before when their food has gone bad and gotten moldy.
Okay.
A lot of times they'll sing songs to me. You know, and those generally have meaning for their guardians. Because I'm also a pet medium too, so if the pet is passed, then a lot of times they'll show me symbols. A lot of times they will show me that, when she sees like a sunflower, let her know that that's me, that I'm sending her sunflowers.
Okay.
So I'm just using all of my clear senses just to feel into the animal and get the communication from them. And then the way I integrate shamanic work is I've got a standard protocol that I learned through Lynn McKenzie's class that I do routinely, but then there's often like cords that need to be cut to past lives or ancestral lines. And I do that using shamanic techniques. There's times when I've had to, like my stepmom's dog, she had a service dog and it had gotten bone cancer. It had only the vets only gave it 2 months to live. My stepmom was so devastated. And so there's a technique. I worked on this dog using shamanic techniques. One of those, you know, have you seen the movie The Green Mile?
Yes.
You know, when John takes in all that negative energy and coughs it out, that's called a husha miqui. The shamans that I've dealt with are from the Andes Mountains, Peru, Chile, you know, South America. And that is one of the techniques I learned from a different shamanic instructor, Joan Wilcox. And I pulled out a lot of the cancer. I also was able to shift his timeline. So instead of 2 months, and he wasn't even going to have made it 2 months, it was like 8 months later.
Oh, wow.
So even though I wasn't able to save him, I was able to give them more quality time together.
Oh, that's awesome. That's amazing. Because I was going to ask you, do you use the Akashic record within your work with the animals? Because I teach Akashic record, and I use them to heal people's wounds and things like that. But I wondered how it worked with a pet, because I've never done that before.
I really haven't used the Akashic records, but they will show me past lives that they've had.
Okay.
And, I've also started doing some animal soul readings where they take me to the Akashic records, or, I mean, one time they showed me I was in the womb with this puppy being birthed. And they'll take me through like wormholes or whatever, because I'm going down a chute with them. It's been a trip.
I imagine, yeah, that'd be different. You know, I was wondering, like, if someone would be interested in animal communication, where would they start with that?
Well, I truly believe everyone has the ability to communicate with animals.
Okay, so that's the start.
Most of us shut it off when we're little because, you know, we had imaginary friends and that was all in our imagination. And so we just kind of shut it off. But I believe everyone has the ability to communicate with animals, as well as have all the psychic clairs, psychic abilities, because it is our birthright.
It is. But I keep telling people that, but maybe it's good to hear it from someone else.
I totally believe it. And but, you know, and one thing I want to point out, though, is you're trying to talk to your own animal. A lot of times doubt comes in because your energy fields are so interconnected. It's hard to know what is theirs and what is yours. So it's best to start with other people's animals where you can get validation. There's a lot of animal communication groups on YouTube. I have I'm one of the admins for the Animal Communication Collective, where you can practice on other people's animals and get feedback and start getting your confidence up.
Well, that's nice. That's really good. And that's in the information that you sent me the other day, right? So I posted all that information in the description on Facebook and YouTube and all that. So if you're looking to contact Julie, it's all on there.
Yeah, I've got, those are my links, but this is a special group on Facebook. I didn't know it was going to come up, but just look up Animal Communication Collective and just ask to join.
Cool. All right. But I think that's important what you just said, because it applies to medium for people as well, right? Sometimes you're asking a question and you're like, oh, is this my wishful thinking? Is it, or is this really the answer? And it's easier to doubt when it's for yourself, where when I'm doing this for anybody else, I'm hearing a message. So I know I'm not affecting this message. It's what I'm hearing. So I'm much more confident when it comes to doing it for other people than for myself.
Well, plus you have a vested interest when it's for yourself. And so you might start getting the answers you want to hear instead of the true answers, because your subconscious is saying, no, we don't want it to go that way. We want it to go this way. Whereas when you are unbiased talking to somebody else or giving a message to somebody else, you just give what you're getting. And then once you start building up that trust, then you can start doing it for yourself and for your own animals.
But it's really nice that you have something in place. So tell me, do you teach animal communication? What does a beginner class look like?
Well, right now I'm doing a beginner animal communication workshop. I've been doing it like a Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
The next one, I'm doing it a couple of times a year. I just did one at the end of February. So the next one will probably be like end of April, beginning of May sometime.
Okay.
I start advertising it about a month in advance. And then, so the first day is all the, we do a water blessing, we do an attunement. We get a power animal because a power animal is going to help you with your animal communication. So I take you through that. A lot of beginners use a pendulum, so I tell them to bring a pendulum, and I tell them about the nuances of working with a pendulum and the steps to animal communication and asking the right questions. So we go through all of that, and then once the second day, we do a heart-centered meditation, because you got to come from your heart. Absolutely. When you're talking to animals, and then we start practicing. I have a lot of animals that we can practice on, some living, some deceased, so you can see the difference when you're communicating with a deceased animal. And I tell you some nuances with that. And then what I do is I send out an email like a week before the class so that they can submit their own animals if they want to participate in the conversation and in the training, because that way they get to practice with their own animals and see if they do get something. And then it's validated by the other people in the class or myself. And I find that that's very rewarding for people. But animals have free will just as we do. So I always have to ask them if they're willing to participate. And I've had some that say no, because having all these students talk to them all at once, it sometimes is overwhelming for some of the animals. And I have to respect that.
Yeah, but when I work with people in doing that, I tell them you're going to ask a question one person at a time, so not to overwhelm the animal. So when the animal looks you in the eye, you got his attention or her attention. You can then formulate the question. We can all hear the answer, but the one at a time. Otherwise, it would be pure chaos, right?
Some animals can do it.
Really? Eh? Okay.
We're asking them all sorts of questions all the time, and I don't know how, but they're giving all the answers.
That's amazing. And do you experience, like in my my experience, some animals will talk to you with images, other will actually be more vocal, or the older they get, the more vocal they are, the more ability they seem to have to formulate words and phrases? Or
not necessarily. Animals communicate with us telepathically, but that doesn't just mean sending pictures. You can get information from the animal with any of your clear senses.
But
sometimes
like you can say, you smells from them, and
sometimes you'll hear music, sometimes they'll say something to you, sometimes you'll just know, sometimes you'll get a taste in your mouth, sometimes you'll get a feeling in your body. It can come through in any way, so you have to be open to receive the information however it comes through. I know Lorelei, and she took my animal communication class, and Doc, the service dog that I told you I worked on, he's one of my animals I use in my class. And, he's deceased, but he had her using all of her senses.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And
so nice to pursue this relationship with you further on, that you can actually continue training people with their help.
Absolutely. I have a lot of current animals and animals that have are deceased that help me with my work.
That's great. I have Buddy here. Did Buddy say that he would like to talk with you?
Well, we were chatting a little bit earlier. Thank you for sending the picture. It helps me have a deeper connection. Did you realize that he is a super empath?
He's actually, I raised him and I selected him and I waited for him because I'll introduce him. Come here with me. He's a super chill dog. So Buddy is very calm. He's yes, you are. You're perfect.
Yeah, he's an old soul.
Yes, he's very kind, and he loves to when people feel anything but joy, he feels it right away, and he goes over to them and he wants to be picked up. So he's not doing it for himself; he's doing it for them. So we host retreats here. So we have people working on deep emotional wounding, and so they have deep emotions, and they need a safe place. And sometimes Buddy is the perfect individual to give them support. They just need to hug his fluffy soft Buddy.
Well, he's taking on a lot of emotions from a lot of people and other animals. He is what I call or what's called a Heyote, Heyyote empath, because he's got a lot of stuck emotions in his body.
Oh, does he? Well,
and that, have you taken him to have the test already?
There's two things that he won't pass if we go now. So he doesn't like walking on surfaces. So certain surfaces that he all of a sudden refused to walk. He won't go upstairs. So we carry him up and down the stairs. He can go up, he just refused to. He'll go down but going up for him, I don't know. That seems to be a great challenge, right? But you just don't like stairs. No, you don't. And when he's on the leash, even if he has his vest on, his training vest on, he still is very reactive to other animals. And until he can do those three things, there's no point in me trying to get him to pass the test because they'll fail him on those. So,
well, he said that because I asked him if he was going to pass, he said no. And right now he is so overwhelmed with everyone else's emotions that I think if we cleared out some of those emotions, he would be a little bit better. Sometimes a lot of the reactivity is from past lives or something that's come down the ancestral line. Just checking on that one. Yeah, some of that's from a past life.
Was he by any chance one of my dogs when I was young?
Yeah, he's one of your soul dogs.
When I saw him, I recognized him right away. But everybody thinks I'm crazy. I'm like, no, that was my dog when I was a teenager.
Yeah, definitely reincarnation. Mm-hmm. He's telling me that, yeah, Mom, we have more work to do.
Yes, it's okay. We'll do it. Yes, we will. Oops, Mommy put lipstick on you. Sorry, bud. So this is how much excitable he is. He's he's a super calm, super quiet, and he just loves being held and petted, and that's why everybody picks him up. And he's soft and he's lovely. He has the greatest temperament. So he's a perfect dog, and because he hasn't passed his test for the to be a support dog, I can't take him with me, right? Because sometimes I work, and so if I can't take him everywhere, then I don't want to leave him alone. He's better off staying at home. But that means that we get separated sometime for a month at a time, which is hard on both of us. So I would like him to pass his test so he could travel with me. Okay? That's what Mommy wants. Yes, that's what I want.
Well, I think to do that, you need to get rid of all these stuck emotions.
Okay.
And then make sure that before you go out. You know how you protect yourself from, you know, like when you go into, I don't know if you have Walmart in Canada,
Yes.
but when I go into Walmart, it's like I've got all sorts of protection on me because there's so much energy in there. I can't get out of there fast enough, basically. But make sure you're putting protection on him as well.
Okay.
Because, you know, we often forget our animal companions when they're going with us into being a service dog or a therapy dog or emotional support animal. And they need protection too, especially since he is so highly empathic.
All right. So then, would that be what you described earlier as these the using the shamanic training you received to apply it to the animal? Then
I can release emotions in two different ways. The traditional way, I go through the meridians of the body, and the non-traditional or the shamanic way, I use like a feather or my hands to, and through my intention to remove all the stuck emotions from the meridians.
does that take multiple sessions? Is that a process that requires a lot of time? Or?
Well, my energy healing sessions, if you do a full energy healing session with me, I work on the physical, the emotional, and the spiritual level. And
Okay.
I only do what your fur baby requests that I do. I do a traditional healing first. And then if there's additional healing that's needed, then I'll find out what that is. And I have a lot of tools in my toolbox. Sometimes that one session just does it. Can it take anywhere from 45 minutes to 2.5 hours, or sometimes more, depending on what I'm doing and what they're requesting of me. So like I've got this feather that I'll use.
Okay.
But also, since he is reactive and has some issues going up and down stairs and things like that, and with some floors, often those are to a past life where something happened to them going up and down stairs, or when they're interacting with dogs or humans that makes them reactive. Normally one session will work. Sometimes, you know, especially with, well, like, let me go with my stepmom service dog. Every once in a while, he needed a tune-up because she was getting ready to go to Houston for a visit. And he was her service dog, so he had to go with her. But I did a tune-up on him, so he was on his best behavior. And, you know, you probably don't get it up there, but he was on the Asheville airport commercial because he was their service dog. Because she would take him up there and he would greet all the nervous passengers, and
oh yeah,
she would take him to schools because he was a therapy dog and a service dog. And he was a golden retriever, and he just loved meeting people. Definitely a soulful dog, definitely a old soul.
Let's see. So by giving us a sample of what that looks like, you know, it encourages people. I mean, if I'm willing to pay money to help myself and heal my body, and you know, the traditional medicine doesn't seem to work for me because I'm allergic to everything. So that's how my path opened up for me. I had to find a different way to heal, right? So by showing people what we can do, right, and how it works, I think it inspired confidence that they might be willing to try, right, and working with you. I don't know if we got Alex here.
We do.
So Chris is going to introduce Alex because Alex, that's his mummy. So this is Alex. He's a good boy, and we got him because Buddy refused to be a mouser, and so Alex is our full-time mouser here on the farm. But Alex has one massive issue. He has quite a bit of attitude for men, and he loves scratching all my beautiful couch. But he's part of the pack, and he loves to join us and come with us and be with him and Buddy are best friends. And but yeah,
he wants more scratching posts.
More, my gosh.
And different types, the corrugated, the horizontal, the vertical. He wants the ones with the rope. He wants the ones with the carpet. He wants the ones with the cardboard, the corrugated stuff. He likes variety.
Yes. Well, he sure loves the new mouses that are coming out in the spring. He's been out there having a great time.
And sometimes when they misbehave like that too, is because they have some pent up energy. And so playing with them more. They've got these great scratching posts now that have different types of fabric. And at the bottom, they have like a little ball and there's little holes in there so they can play with it too. And my cats just love it. I got it on Chewy recently. I don't know if y'all get Chewy up there or not, but it's a godsend.
Well, we'll look into that for him. Is there anything else we can do to make him a happy fellow?
Says no.
More time outside. I'm surprised he didn't ask for more time outside.
Yeah, he's always wanting to go outside.
So if you can ask him, if we would put him outside but not tie him up, because he goes outside but he has to be tied up, would he stay close to the house?
He says probably.
Yeah, I recognize the attitude of Alex there. Probably, but if I feel like it, I might just wander off and come back later.
He says he wouldn't wander off too far, but he says he's a predator and he has to prey.
Yes.
So if there's something that he sees in the distance, he's going to go check it out.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why maybe you can communicate that to him. We've tried to make him understand that, but the problem is we live in the country and there's coyotes here, and we even saw a wolf. We have real predators, much bigger, more dangerous than he is, and that's the reason why we keep it close to the house, because we don't want him to be, killed.
He said, they don't scare me.
Well, him and Buddy on the same. Buddy chases moose in my yard, so. But I can see that he's talking to you just by the way his eyes are focusing, and he's almost hypnotized by he's not paying attention to what's going on here, but more what's going on in the communication field.
Yeah, he says he's smarter than those animals outside.
That's true.
He can outmaneuver them.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll give him a little bit more space to roam. Would you like that?
He said he would appreciate that.
Okay.
He said being tethered limits his abilities.
Yes.
I know. But at the same time, we love him so much. We don't want to lose him or get him hurt or.
We do it for his safety.
He says he understands and he loves y'all too.
Ah. So then leave the couch alone, okay? That's my only peeve with this one.
He says he's willing to compromise. Get him some more scratching points so he has some variety.
Okay.
And let him roam free.
Okay.
Then he will consider it.
Well, I'm sure his mummy will spoil him with a whole bunch of things.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Kitty? Is there anything you want to tell us?
Alex?
You asking Alex?
Yes. I guess we should have done that with Buddy too.
We can go back to Buddy if you want.
But because Alex is being unordinarily calm right now, and very his eyes are closed. He's really focusing on sending the answers to you. I've never seen him this like chill. Even his tail is just like slowly swagging. Like, I'm totally focusing on this communication. It's a different animal right now.
I have that effect on animals.
But I can see because we were concerned that he was just gonna meow and just, you know, try to scratch his way out of here. We weren't sure how that's gonna go. So if you can talk to Alex, you can probably talk to just about any animal.
He's telling me that he loves y'all very much. He appreciates the home that you've given him. He feels so spoiled.
I hope so.
He said he's sorry he's ruining your furniture, but cats must be cats.
Yeah, I get that.
And he hopes you like the presents he leaves for you.
I love them. Every single dead mouse is a good mouse for me. So I really, really, truly appreciate that.
He says those are presents to you for taking such good care of him.
Thank you, Alex.
It's kind of like he's paying his rent.
Well,
Yes.
you know what's funny? The story I didn't tell you about Alex is that we had a mouse in the house, and I pointed to Buddy. Look, there's a mouse, and he looked up. He looked at the mouse, and he went woof, and he went back to sleep. And I'm like, oh, I don't think so. And I've never had a dog that didn't hunt before, so this was new to me. So I said to Chris, I said, we're getting a cat, and I'm normally allergic to cats, but Alex, I got no reaction with him. So everything is perfect. So I was at a fair downtown, and all of a sudden I heard the message, your cat's waiting for you at the store. So I told Chris, I'll be back in 10 minutes. And I walked to the store, and there he was. And the person at the store says to me, but that's the rambunctious one. You should take one of the girls. They're quiet. I said, no. I need the rambunctious one. He's going to live with a dog. They have to, you know, he has to have a little bit of oomph to himself to stand up to the dog. But I want him to be hunting too. So I think that's my perfect one. And I think his real name is Alvin.
He says no, he doesn't accept that name.
Oh, okay. So all right.
Alex
Alex it is then. The first thing that had popped in my head was Alvin. I'm like, oh, maybe not, because we're gonna keep screaming Alvin all the time.
He said, well, to be perfectly honest, I was once called Alvin, and that was a very degrading name. He
Oh,
prefers Alex.
oh, well, I'm glad you like Alex. We love you. That's good. And I hope that the people watching are enjoying this and seeing how much you can get from an animal communication like this, right? I mean, and Alex is not sick. He's very healthy, but we can still gain so much. And it helps, I think, with our connection. He's like, okay, that's the way I see it. You guys care enough to want to know what I have to say, right? And I think that even after we finish the communication, he'll be different because he knows, I know you care for real now. Right? You want to know what I feel. You want to know what I think. You took the time to ask. I think that creates also a big difference for the animals.
Okay.
Oh, he's done.
Animals have free will just as we do.
Yes.
And a lot of times we don't take their will into consideration.
Mama still needs you.
But,
He also says that don't forget we were kings and queens in a previous life.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I knew you.
We are worshipped as gods. So
it's funny because I'm not a cat person. I've been raised with dogs my entire life. So dogs, they're there to listen to the master. So if I want to sit on the couch, it's like, move, right? Get out, this is my spot. You can cuddle if you want, but this is my spot. And Chris is a cat person, so she's always catered to the cat. So if the cat's sitting there, she'll sit somewhere else, not to disturb the cat. And I'm like, what is this? So I guess he wanted to remind me, you should do that too. Oh, it's too funny. Yeah, so did Buddy want me to know something?
Let me check. He's showing me two hearts beating as one. To me, that's my symbol for a soul connection, a soul dog. We spent many lifetimes together.
I believe in that.
He loves you to the moon and back. And then he goes, wait a minute. No, way beyond the moon and back. He's telling me that sometimes when he tries to get your attention is to get you, keep you from worrying, to get you back into the present moment.
Okay.
Because he says worrying about the future can change. Because any decision you make can affect the future outcome. So why worry? You need to stay in the present moment and look at the magic that's all around you. That's where the real magic is.
Yes, I have to admit, we're in a pretty magical place.
Let all the stress and worry go. It's not your burden to bear. Make sure you stay in the here and now. Make sure you stay in your heart. Anything else? He loves you very, very much. He said that you both still have work to do together. And he's going to be there every step of the way.
Good.
Until he can no longer be there, but then he will still be with you in spirit, just as he was before. But he's also going, that's not going to happen anytime soon. Don't worry, Mom.
No, better not, right? You're way too young, my sweetie poo. Yeah. So the cat wanted scratch post. Does Buddy want anything?
More treats.
Of course.
More attention, more cuddles.
Oh my gosh. Yay? Must be because I spend too much time in the office.
That's about it.
Well, that's a lot. I mean, that's wonderful. That is amazing. So thank you on the part of Alex, Chris, and Buddy, and me. We appreciate that. And we hope that I'm not seeing any comments. And sometimes it's frustrating because the comments don't always appear. So I'm just going to go check and see if we're missing the comments for some reason, because that does happen. There. Okay, so I'm live right now. So anyway, leave us say hi, people. I can see there's a whole bunch of people watching. So give us a hi. Give us a thumb. I can see the thumbs up. I can see the hearts. So everybody's loving what you're doing. And having a chance to experience it and realizing the value, right? Because I know that some people would say that, why would you cry if a dog died? And I'm like, oh, hi, Patty. There you go. Come on, people. Give us your comments. I think that for some people, maybe they didn't have pets. Because if someone had pets, I can't understand how they would not get attached. It's my child. You know, it's my friend. It's my, you know, he's part of. I go to
It's her
sleep.
baby.
Oh, absolutely. And I go to sleep and I'm in Quebec and I can feel him say goodnight, Mom. You know, I can still feel his presence with me, even though we're not physically together. So it's to have the ability to communicate with them and understand maybe their behavior, or like you say, you know, if he was sick, well, then we could look into that. Now you analyze that there's emotions stuck to him. Okay, well, we'll take care of that, because that if they were stuck to me, I'd want to get rid of them. So why should he be stuck with them, right? So there's great value. And I imagine you can communicate with birds as well, and you know, so it's not just fur things. It could be, I don't know about fish. Do fish talk to you?
Well, I've talked to dolphins and whales before. I haven't
Okay.
talked to like a random fish in the ocean or whatever, but I have talked to dolphins and whales. I've talked to iguana.
Okay.
I talked to a snake that was on my welcome mat when I was coming home from running errands. It was a water moccasin, which is a poisonous snake down here, and it was longer than I am tall.
Oh, wow.
That was a definite message for me. I talked to a chimp ape type creature that was a famous ape, and for the life of me I cannot remember its name, but it was the one that had the most vocabulary with humans.
Okay.
After it had passed. And when I talk to animals that have passed, a lot of times that's very healing for the guardian. Because it just brings closure. You know, they always want to know whether they're okay. And, you know, I'm always saying, okay, well, he's showing me a sunflower, so he's me sending you sunflowers, whether it's outside in nature or a picture in a book or magazine. You know, just know that that's him. So it just helps bring closure.
Absolutely.
And healing.
Absolutely. Definitely. Well, hello, Hallie. Okay, now people are starting to say hello. If you have questions, don't be shy. Put your questions on there. I'm trying to make this interview as complete and as in depth as I can, so that you have a great understanding of what Julie does, and maybe be interested in developing your own abilities in animal communication or healing. And you know, if your pets need a help. Okay, so Ali says, Julie, what do you do to prepare yourself to get into the zone for animal communication?
It's important to come out of your heart space. So often I will listen to like heart chakra healing music on YouTube.
Okay.
It's on YouTube, but that helps me to get into my heart space quickly. I also have to be well hydrated and grounded first.
Okay, that's good to know. And then she says, do you have spontaneous communication with, you know, animals, or do you actually have to go in this heart space and reach out, let's say, for that poisonous snake and saying, could you move out, please?
Yes, I have. Generally, I try and stay in my heart space as much as possible. But sometimes, like if there's birds outside, I'm not tuned into them.
Okay.
Just as a lot of times our animals will tune us out because it's blah, 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 blah. You know, they understand more than we give them credit for, but sometimes they just kind of ignore us because when we're talking to each other and stuff like that, it's blah, 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 blah. And they kind of just tune us out. But yeah, I have. I had a tree that when you are able to talk to animals, you can also talk to the plants and anything else, because It's at a slightly different vibration than what humans are.
But it is there.
And I had a tree channel a poem to me the other day.
Oh, wow.
I had a dog channel a poem to me the other day because a friend of mine had asked me to speak to his new little puppy. And this little puppy was hysterical. But it started channeling a poem to me. And it's like, it started out something like, I am free. I'm free to be me. And it just went on from there. And it was just so hysterical.
So Allie's also asking, are you always on or can you turn it off?
Oh, I turn it off.
So it's something that you can say, okay, I've had enough now. I'm tired. Talk to me tomorrow kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so Allie, you're asking, can you feel their feelings when you communicate? Do you see images? Like at the beginning, you must be just tuning in now, but at the beginning, when we explain how it works, Julie was saying that she uses all her senses. So she can taste, she can smell, she can hear, she can feel in her body the upset stomach, so she's using all of these different senses, and she's also an empath, so she can feel their feelings. So she's using all of these in her toolbox to be able to then translate what she's getting into an actual message.
Yeah, animals communicate telepathically, but they can, and some people just think that's sending images, but no, they can communicate using any of our clairsenses.
So that gives us, I think, a more rounded message, right? It's clear that, because sometimes an image, it's an image, is that a good, is that a bad, is that what you want, is that what you don't want, right? It's not complete sometimes. So I think that the ability to be able to draw from all the senses makes the messages much more adequate or easy to understand.
Mm-hmm. And even animals in nature are sending us messages. Because like I had ants in my kitchen one time, and I talked to them, or you can even look up the spiritual meaning of ants and see what the message is. And after I got the message, they disappeared.
Oh, that's cool.
I was
so
able
is there, sorry. I was just wondering, is there an actual book that you refer to for the animal messages?
Hang on one second.
Okay.
This is a great book, Animal Spirit Guides by Stephen D. Farmer.
Okay.
Because they have it like, if a monkey shows up, it means call on a monkey when, and if a monkey is your power animal. It has 3 different settings because sometimes your power animal is there to help you navigate part of your journey. Sometimes an animal just shows up to give you a message. So it has it broken down in different ways, but there's a lot of, Ted Andrews has some great books.
I really like Ted Andrews, The Animal Speak. That's one of the ones I refer to a lot because even though he's First Nation, he has animals like ostriches and elephants, right? So it's not just North American animals. So you can use the ones, because I tell people, if an eagle flies above your head, he's trying to show you something. He's trying to tell you something, right? Because nobody else saw the eagle, just you. But if you dream of an ostrich, I like the way he explains traditionally the meaning and also historically, and so it's great to get the teachings from the animals world.
Most definitely. And if you see 3 of the same animal, either sequentially or in a group, that's a message. Or if it's an unusual place, like having the snake on my welcome mat, that was not expected. I also had a bunch of slugs on my patio that was telling me I was losing too much energy and I needed to do some more to protect myself. Once I learned the message, they were gone. There was also a groundhog in my apartment complex in the middle of the day. I've never seen a live groundhog,
Okay.
especially not in the middle of apartment complex. That was an unusual situation, and that was a message for me as well. So anytime you see something out of the ordinary that you don't normally see, that's a message for you.
I personally had experienced something really otherworldly every time I went to work, and I worked. It was a big building in a big city, but just around the building there was like a green belt, right? So there was a little lake, so there was a lot of ducks and a little bit of wildlife because of the green belt. But every morning I went to work for a whole year, there was a coyote who would nudge me and then go into the forest. He was waiting, and every single day I went to work for a year.
Did you look up the meaning of the coyote?
Yes, having more laughter in your life, becoming more creative, and I needed all those things. and that was the tail end of my, I would say, day job before I did this full time.
Yeah.
He was telling me, it's time for you. Why are you still here? Why are you still showing up?
Yeah, and you're going to see different interpretations if you look up the spiritual meaning on the internet, but you're going to find something that really resonates and it's like, oh, that was my message.
Yeah, I think just like dreams, right? If I dream of a black cat, I am not going to go to the superstitious or the fear, whereas another person might say, oh my God, the black cat, bad things are coming. So every one of us also has their own vocabulary and meaning.
Symbols. Yeah.
Yes. So because when I teach dream interpretation, I tell them, I said, you can buy 5 different books and look in all these books what a red bird means, and they'll give you all 5 different explanations. So it's not about figuring out what they think it means. What does it mean to you? Because it's your soul talking to you, right? So your soul is using a language you should understand. So you really need to get in touch with your own self. What does this mean to me? And I think the animals is the same.
Yeah, and I do a shamanic dream interpretation.
Oh, cool.
Where we pick out several things in the dream that stood out, and it helps them interpret their own dream.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a very important tool to have, because it's your soul talking to you. So you need to learn how to communicate, right? So I know we talked a lot about animal, but you also do people stuff. And we have maybe just about 20 minutes left. So I would like to know more about that part of your work as well.
Well, shamanic energy healing is very powerful. Mm-hmm. I can help relieve pain in the body. I had somebody that went to the doctor the next day, and she had always had high blood pressure. She had them check it 3 times because it was low, or it was back in normal range, and that had never happened before. It gets rid of stuck emotions. It gets rid of trauma in the body. It gets rid of limiting beliefs, any fears that you have, just whatever you need to release. We just set the intention that it's all going to be released. We talk a little bit, and then there's different tools that I use to get you really relaxed, and then I remove it from your chakras, the dark or negative type energy. I generally will see it like as a cloud. I'll remove it from your chakra, give it to the flame for transmutation. Then I'm going to look for any cords to past lives, to people that are holding you back, preventing you from moving forward. Sometimes people have residual energy from a past life that is often the way they died in a past life. So I've removed like energetic arrowheads and bullets and shards of glass that ends up causing pain in the body during this lifetime.
Absolutely. Actually, I have an example on that. My son, when he turned about 3.5, 4, there's a scar that appeared in his back. But there's it's a real, like, I'd say a good 3 inches scar. And I'm like, where'd that come from? That it was bad enough that it should have bled. They should have been almost like stitched. But all there is just the scar appeared. And then he had a growth spurt. And in the same place as before, the scar appeared again. So he had, but every time, let's say this is his back. Every time, it's always like a certain distance from either side. So he was small, so it was a small scar. But as he grew, the scar kept getting bigger and reappearing after every growth spurt. And we eventually found out that he brought this from a back injury from a past life. And his back was hurting until he was able to receive some healing for it.
Yeah. And a lot of times they don't appear as scars. Sometimes it's so internal that it doesn't appear on the outside. But, and then sorry, my cat's trying to get into trouble here. So go get it. Go get the toys. Thank you. Bribery works wonders. It's a little kitten that showed up and it's just a little ball of energy. But I can also go on a shamanic journey on your behalf, because whenever we're traumatized, a piece of our soul breaks off and goes into hiding. And so I will go on a journey on your behalf to the underworld, and the underworld isn't hell. It's the Native Americans believe in a lower world, an upper world, and a middle world. And we're on the middle world right now. And so there's 4 chambers I'd go to: the chamber of wounds, where I'd see where the original wound was; the chamber of contracts, because whenever we lose a piece of our soul, we end up making these ridiculous contracts. Because like one of mine was, I'm always afraid. So yeah, of course I'm always afraid in this lifetime. So then I'll bring that contract back with me, and I will tell you how to let go of that one contract and instill a new contract. And I'll work with you on to help you instill that new contract. Then the Chamber of Grace. The Chamber of Grace is where I talk to your soul piece and try and convince it to come back. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't, sometimes it will with conditions. And then the Chamber of Treasures. And in the Chamber of Treasures, they give a gift for you to help you on your journey. And when somewhere along the way, I end up getting a power animal, it's going to also help you on your journey. And then I bring the power animal back, the soul piece if it wants to come, and then the contract and the gift. And then there's another part of that where you get to ask these different things, and I bring back questions, and some of the answers are so profound that it's, people have said it's been life-changing. So I really enjoy doing this work.
Well, it's very similar to something that I do, except that instead of going on their behalf, I bring them along. So they take the responsibility of bringing their own self back. But I agree with you. There's the grace, there's the gift, there's the power animal, everything is there. So you were saying earlier that you were trained by Peruvian shaman from the Andes? So
yeah, I did a 6-month-long program with Alberto Villodo and his team. Did a lot of practicing with my fellow students. And a lot of other people, because I wanted to get really good at it. So now I'm able to do it professionally.
That's the key, I think, right? We need to practice to get good at it, right? If you don't practice, it doesn't matter if you have a gift or not, right? It's not going to happen. You need to put in the work.
Right. And then I learned from another instructor, Joan Parisia Wilcox. And then there's some others along the way, but a lot of their techniques I don't really use. but her techniques are from the Andean shamans, the Andean mountain shamans, or actually they call themselves Pacos. But sometimes I will use some of the techniques I learned from Alberto Velodo, and then other times I'll use techniques from Joan Wilcox, and other times Spirit just guides me to do something else.
Which are always the interesting one, right?
I am just the vessel. I'm just the hollow bone, and I let Spirit do the heavy lifting. And so, you know, I will sometimes do some wall tracking to look at the 4 different archetypes. It just depends on how I'm led to give that healing to that person.
So there's still an important part of your intuition that comes to play. But I'm curious, so did you have to go to Peru to learn?
No, everything can be done remotely these days.
So
all my sessions are remote.
And you are, I believe, if I understood correctly, you teach that spiritual healing yourself.
I'm working on a class on healing through the 4 directions.
Okay, so that's coming in the near future. All right.
I'm hoping so.
I know so. I just in case some of our listeners are interested, so that they know if they go on your website or whatever and they can't find that, you know, class on the 4 direction, they're going to be, where can I find this? Just so they know it's coming soon. You're working on it, and it's going to be a training. But for now, they can reach out to you and get some healing done.
Yes, and this is actually, the class is actually going to be more of a healing, because part of my training was going through the medicine wheel and healing what I needed to heal. A lot of it is like the shadow work type stuff. But to be able to heal others, you got to heal yourself.
Definitely. I 100%. I think that the first place to start is right at home. You need to fix your own stuff before you can think that you can, you know, fix other people. You need to know about how the wounding happened and how did you live with it for these patterns for so long. You need to identify them before you start telling other people's, right?
And I don't believe there's really any end to healing. We just end up further up on the spiral.
Exactly.
And you know, there's still more healing to be done, but once because you'll find that you're triggered by some things in the past, but then next time it comes along, you aren't triggered as bad. And so it just keeps getting better and better until you are as close to being healed as you possibly can. But I think it's a never-ending process. There's always something to heal.
Well, personally, I think that if you finish healing whatever happened in this life, that's when you can start tackling the past lives. So, you know, you've had multiple appearances, so there's still quite a bit of work. And I think that as long as you're living and breathing, it's an opportunity for you to actually clear all these things out of the way so that your existence on Earth presently can improve drastically.
Well, even with animals, I've cleared some past lives, and sometimes we can get, or animals can get, what's called a miasm. This is ancestral energy, usually from the maternal or paternal line. And so there was one of my friends had a dog that had a skin condition. It was a black lab. And so it had a miasm to Sora, which is a skin condition. And so I was able to cut the cord to that past life. And the next day he said, I don't know what you did, but that's his coat is beautiful.
Wow, eh?
Because
it's energy, and so are they. So, you know, it's all a vibrational thing. So if they're carrying this vibration that's causing the skin disease, and the vibration is no longer there, well, then the skin disease can no longer exist either. Sometimes people think that it's going to take 6 months before your skin is good, and it's not. The minute that the problem is fixed, the vibration restores itself to healthy, it happens right away.
Yeah, and we're all energy.
Exactly.
So if you clean up the energy and get it back to where it's supposed to be, then a lot of times these things clear up on their own. or seemingly on their own.
Yeah, I find it very interesting. I didn't realize you had some in these training. I got trained in the jungle in Peru, and
Awesome.
yeah. So I think that's why we have similar traditional healing methods, because we were both trained with the same kind of background, right? In different places, but still it's the teachings, right? And there's so much more traditionals in those areas that they respect the teachings and that they can be transmitted properly from one generation to the next.
Yeah.
All right. Does anybody else have any other questions? Ali, thank you for your questions. Those were really good ones. And I'm so glad that she put a whole bunch there. Otherwise, is there anything that we haven't touched on, Julie, that you really think that it'd be important to share, or that you want people to know about you or what you offer?
Well, I just love what I do. I love being of service to people and their animals. You know, animals are our mirrors. They are often imitating us. They're often healing us. And so if we can help heal them, it just creates a more symbiotic relationship between the animal and their guardian. I will be teaching a animal communication workshop. It's a beginner animal communication workshop in probably the end of April, beginning of May. I also teach an animal chakra class because, you know, humans have 7 major chakras in their body. Animals actually have 9. And some of those are very important with like the human animal bond, and for overreaction or underreaction to training cues, circumstances, people, other animals, noises. So I like teaching people about that. That's also going to probably be coming up the end of April, beginning of May. The healing through the 4 directions is probably going to be coming up April or May timeframe. And I'm also working on a more in-depth animal energy healing
Course or means of healing?
Course, where
Okay.
I'm going to be starting to teach people how I do it. Because you can clear out the chakras and things like that, but there's, you know, that's only on the spiritual level. You need to heal the physical, the emotional, and the spiritual level often. And there's more to it than just dealing with the chakras. And it's also important that when you know, because there's a lot of Reiki practitioners that work on animals. There's a lot of other people that do energy work on animals, but unless you know that they've got 9 chakras and where they're located, because their locations are a little bit different in the animal, it's not going to be quite as effective. So that's why I like teaching about the animal chakras.
And what I like is that you've taken everything you've learned, but you're also adding to it your personal experience and trusting what information you've received and how you've worked with this over the years in making it your own, right? And so you're taking something and you're making it, so you're growing it. I don't want to say something better because it's still good, but with your experience and everything you've done, you're able to say, well, I see this and I see that, and I'm adding that and making it even more potent and more efficient. And I think that is the true gift that you can offer, right? Is to be confident enough in the experience and wisdom and skills you acquired, and then share that with the rest of us so that we can be of benefits to our loved ones and animals.
Well, I take no credit for it. My guides are absolutely amazing. Like I said, I'm just a hollow bone. I just do what I'm told.
But still, you're taking that extra challenge of trying to teach us that you know, a more complete model that, you know, considers all of the. I believe that we are physical, sure, We have a physical body, but we're also emotions. We're also, thoughts. We're also spiritual. We're so much more than just our physical body. And if we just look at the symptoms and not the cause, which sometimes it's an emotional cause, it's a spiritual cause, right? If we don't go look beyond just putting a Band-Aid on things, we're not truly healing. We're not truly transforming. And I think that we need that courage to take that leap and say, I'm going to see it through the bottom. I'm going to get to the bottom of it. I'm going to clear it, and it's going to be gone.
Yeah, and that's also what I'm learning in my medical intuitive courses, because I'm in an advanced medical intuition course right now where we're actually getting down to the core beliefs and healing that. Because like the liver stores a lot of anger, and sometimes people start having liver issues or issues in their stomach, but when you get down to it, it's actually tied to a core belief.
Absolutely. I also do core belief work, so I'm totally there with you. I have seen people's lives, not them, their whole lives completely transform the minute we can take an old belief, like second grade teacher told you you'll never be good at math. And they integrated that because it came from a figure of authority, a teacher, and they trusted that teacher knew what he was talking about. And now we go in and we're like, no. You're good at math. You just gave up because someone told you you'll never be good at it. So now you can go back now. You can learn. Mm-hmm. I've helped people learn a second language. I've helped, in my life personally, I cleared the belief that I was not lovable because my mother never said I love you. So I integrated. It's, sometimes you don't have to be told. You just integrate this message from behavior and things going on around you. And I figured, okay, well, this is the best I'm ever going to get. I might as well settle because people are not going to love me. I'm not worthy of this love. And then going like, wait, no, I'm not believing that anymore. I'm going to change that because I am a good person. I'm an honest person. I'm a dependable person. I'm a loving and compassionate being. So why do I not deserve love? And it's amazing the changes that occurs in someone's life when you do these transformations. So, all right. Well, now people, you've heard it from somewhere else. And you have someone else that you can work with as well, which is nice. I think that sometimes it's nice to also have more than one person to go to because they get a different perspective where they're still working on the same things, but they see something that maybe your regular practitioner didn't see, right? So a new set of eyes on a situation is always very powerful as well.
Exactly.
So you can contact Julie. All her information is in the description on Facebook and on YouTube and attached to the Instagram post as well. We've got her website. There are 2 websites. We got her Facebook as well. She's easy. She's quick to answer when you reach out to her, which is really nice. You don't have to wait for days. So if you need her, she's going to easily be reached. So don't be shy. And if you need more information, go to the website. I always say that's a good place to start. But if you have more individual question, that's the best place is just to ask the practitioner you want to work with, right? Or the teacher you want to learn from. So we're wrapping this up. I'm feeling very blessed to have you with me tonight. Thank you so much, Julie, for your time, for your explanation. It was great to have you on tonight.
Well, thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. So I'm saying goodbye to all of you. I will see you again on April 29th, and that was going to be in French, so the French people can be happy. They're always like, but what about us? We don't always understand everything in English. So the next one is in French, and we're going to talk about music and how music can transform and help you through your spiritual transformation. And if you're watching it on YouTube, you can actually click subtitles in English and still hear everything with the subtitles. And so the French people can do also that, they can watch us in French if they want. So thank you, Lorelei, for watching. Thank you, Patty. Thank you, everyone. And have a good night, and we'll see you again next month. And don't forget, if you want to come and watch it live, you can do that. You can join us live and have an audience. We used to do them all live. So please come and join us. It's always a lot of fun to have you in person. Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everyone.